Alert Weather Team is committed to your safety with 6 hours of continuous team coverage.
This is a relentless storm, Dave.
We're fortunate we all made it out alive.
And our network of sky cams across the state alerting you to danger, bringing you live footage of tornadoes as they touch down in Wathau County.
Look at this, Chase. Guys, look at that.
This is ground zero almost. I mean, this is really hard to stomach, like I said.
We take our commitment to being on your side seriously, and together we're Mississippi Strong.
Weekdays, stream First Alert Weather Plus.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.
WLBT's First Alert Weather Team is keeping you up to date with the latest information. From your morning commute to your afternoon drive, we're on your side, streaming on your favorite devices. WLBT First Alert Weather Plus.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. We finally made it to the end of the week, and it's been a relatively warm one at that, but all eyes are on our First Alert Weather Day on Saturday. Now, right now, the time frame still looking like Saturday evening and lingering into Saturday overnight for some of us. Now, there still are some inconsistencies between our two different high resolution models to specifically say exact timings right now, to confidently, I should say exact timings. But I'm going to show you just some of the scenarios that we're looking at for tomorrow's event heading into Saturday evening. So again, First Alert Weather Day, not going to be a complete all-day washout. I think the beginning of your Saturday is going to be relatively quiet. We could see a few scattered showers and storms ahead of the main line, but it's all going to kind of congeal together and become that line of storms, especially as it gets closer to the I-55 corridor, and then especially east of I-55, it's really just going to be that line of storms. And not only before that line, but also within that line, all modes of severe weather are going to be possible. So I'm going to show you two different kind of scenarios here between our two high resolution models. This is our first one. We call it the HRRR. Again, this has this front moving in a little bit more slowly than the next model I'll show you here in a couple of minutes. So it doesn't really have anything moving in here by around 6 o'clock. Maybe it's really not until around 11 o'clock p.m. Saturday night and into midnight that this model has those scattered showers ahead of the main line moving into areas in the lower delta and along the Mississippi River. So I will say areas west of I-55, the ingredients look just a little bit better for the severe potential in terms of the potential for tornadoes, and brief spin-up tornadoes at that. These don't necessarily look to be long track, just considering what kind of energy is going to be available at that point in time. But it's not really until about 1 o'clock in the morning that line becomes more congealed, as I mentioned not too long ago. And then it starts to push further east along the I-55 corridor around 4 a.m. on Sunday, and then continuing to push further off to the east by the time you get ready to wake up on Sunday morning. I think most of us are going to be done with this by around that 7-8 o'clock time frame. Regardless of the model runs, I think it's pretty much going to be mostly dry for us by the lunch hour on Sunday. Can't completely rule out a few stray showers behind the main line, but those don't look to be severe by any means. After that line exits the area, our severe threat's pretty much going to be done with. So that was our first model run. Now I'm going to show you here the second model run. This has things moving in a little bit earlier. By around that 7 o'clock time frame, we start to see some of those scattered showers and storms ahead of the main line that's behind it by around 7 o'clock in the lower delta. As I mentioned, showing you that earlier model, this didn't have anything moving in one at 7 o'clock. It was much later into the evening. So I would say over the next couple of hours, as we get more model runs in, we'll be able to more narrow down that time frame and see what consistencies lie within those two model runs over the next couple of hours, as I mentioned. But then it has this model that line moving in, I should say, by around 10 o'clock or so, entering the I-55 corridor just after midnight and into around the 2 o'clock time frame Sunday morning. It's starting to enter our far most eastern counties of the viewing area and then pretty much exiting on out by the time you get ready to wake up on Sunday. Again, that main line is really where the highest potential or the greatest intensity, if you will be for all modes of severe weather. Anything behind it looks lackluster at best. Not expecting that to be severe once the main edge of that line moves through. So I will say, in terms of storm energy, definitely looks its highest by around 3-4 o'clock, as you would expect, because that is around peak heating time of the day. But it is on the lower end of the spectrum here, and it continues to be on the lower end even after sunset. So in terms of the potential for tornadoes, not looking its highest for us, but can't completely rule it out. And it still sticks with us even into around 10 o'clock on Saturday night and into the early morning hours on Sunday. But it's pretty much cleared on out by the time, again, you wake up Sunday morning. So with all that to say, I would say damaging winds and hail are still our highest threats. Damaging winds upwards of 70 miles an hour. We could also see large golf ball sized hail. And the tornado risk and the flash flooding risk are a little bit less than the threat for damaging wind and hail, but they're not completely zero. If this front decides to stall out, as it has been doing further off to the north over the past couple of days, then we could be looking at some localized flash flooding issues. Again, brief spin-up tornadoes could be possible along that line or along the edge of that line. And then I will say, after the line passes the I-55 corridor and pushing further off to the east, it looks more so like a damaging wind threat more than anything. But again, we live in Mississippi. Anything will be possible within this line, and even those scattered showers ahead of the line, especially further off to the west. So make sure you have multiple ways of receiving alerts over the next 24 to 48 hours. Make sure you have your ringer turned on, as this could potentially be overnight event for you, not for everyone. And it's not going to be storming the entire time. But just make sure you have multiple ways of receiving alerts and staying prepared. I would say the first part of your Saturday looks relatively quiet compared to Saturday evening, Saturday night. Luckily, once this front passes through, we've got some pretty nice and calmer weather setting up for us. It's going to be a little bit cooler as well. We're looking at about almost a 20-degree temperature swing from Saturday into Sunday. Highs are going to be in the 60s to start off next week. Mornings in the low to mid 40s. So definitely going to need the light jacket stepping out the door. And then we gradually make our way into the 70s, low 80s towards the end of next week. But in terms of rain chances, they look on the lower end for most of next week. So it looks like we're actually going to get a little bit of a break from this stormy weather that we're expecting for this weekend. So that's all I have for you for now. Definitely tune into our later newscasts. Elise will be on at noon for more on this severe weather event we're expecting tomorrow. And of course, she'll also be providing more of those updates in terms of what our new model runs will look like and looking at the consistencies between those over the next couple of hours. So, of course, if you have any questions, make sure to reach out to us. We're always happy to answer them. And of course, we're not trying to scare you by any means. We're just giving you all the information so that you guys can make an informed decision on what to expect for tomorrow. So again, until then, have a great rest of your Friday.